Over the last few programs, I've had you think about your areas of focus and to create boundaries in your life. Well, in order to do that, you're going to have to learn to say no when requests come your way. And that's what we're going to talk about today on taking the next step. So when you set up boundaries in your life, people are going to keep coming to you, asking you to do things. And for a long time, a lot of you have been saying yes to everything. So in order to create margin in your life, you're going to have to learn how to say no. And the psychologists tell us that in order to break a habit, in this case, saying yes to everything, you have to have an alternative method or response in mind. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Now, there are different ways to say no, okay? I have some ideas here. One of them is the blunt method. Somebody comes to you and says, hey, could you help me out with something? And your response is no. The blunt method usually isn't going to work. Then we have the self-pity or the Eeyore method. Remember Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh? No, I'm just so overwhelmed. I just can't help you today. And you kind of whine and complain. Well, people don't like whiners. Then we have the insulting method. And that goes something like, no, I have more important things to do. Now, you may not say that just like that, but some response like that could come out. Then you have the guilt method. It might go something like this. No, you're always asking me to do things or to go above and beyond. And that usually won't go over very well either. Now, there are lots of ways to say no. And the point of this little segment is to have you think about how you're going to respond with a no answer. Because people are going to keep coming to you. And you need to have something in mind. You don't want to make something up on the spot. Now, your responses are going to be different for different people. I understand that. Some people you don't know very well at all, and others are closer to you, and your response is going to be different. But I do think that you need to be able to explain to them that you're going through a process. In the past, your schedule was so overwhelmed that you were just didn't have any breathing space, and you need to be able to create some margin in your life. And you've established some areas that you're working in. Now, let me give you an example. The other day, I asked somebody that I know fairly well to do something for me. It was a repair on my car, because I knew he had done that kind of thing in the past. And I called him and I asked him about it, and he says, I used to do that kind of thing, but it got so overwhelming for me, and it was so difficult and so messy that I just decided that I'm not doing that kind of work anymore. But hey, thanks for calling. I totally understood that. It took him about 20 seconds to say that. He could have said, no, I can't help you, but he gave me a short explanation, and it really helped me to understand, and it really strengthened the relationship. I didn't feel put off at all in his response. Now, if you're talking to somebody or responding to someone you don't know very well, you could just say, hey, thanks for asking, but I'm just not going to be able to help you at this time. I'm sorry. But if you do know them, well at all or very well, your response may be a little longer. The point is, you're not going to respond the same way I would, but you do need to have a response in mind to help you say no in a good way. And I wrote down here that pray to be filled with the Holy Spirit, because bearing His fruit will bear the best results. If you can be kind and gentle and patient with people, that's going to come across to them far better than if you're abrupt or rude. And so I strongly suggest that this week you think about how you're going to be saying no to people when they come to you, because they will come to you. And after you've established your areas of focus and your boundaries to establish margin, you need to be able to say no. And so that's what I'd like you to be thinking about this week. And that's what I'm asking you to do in taking the next step. Because remember, taking the next step can make all the difference. So if you found this segment to be helpful, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more like it, subscribe below. We'll see you next time.